Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be taking a look at an ESPN Plus article by Aaron Schatz of ESPN ranking the 2023 NFL rookie classes. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as a lot of people know, had a pretty darn good 2023 NFL draft. Jason Light, it was one of his better drafts. It really was. Now, I'm not going to show you guys the entire article because this is a subscription and a service that you have to pay for. So definitely go check out the entirety of the article if you are subscribed to ESPN Plus. But we're going to go ahead and jump to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and where they are ranked. So if you go down here, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are actually ranked 6th. And it talks about Christian Izien being the main nickelback starter for the Bucs this season. He was apparently the most valuable undrafted rookie of 2023 by total points. You also had Kayvon Merriweather making some plays throughout this season. You had the Bucs' first 3 draft picks doing fantastic, phenomenal work. You had Kalijah Kancey doing some great work. Cody Mauch was a starter at right guard. Yaya Diabi did some really good stuff. And even Trey Palmer got some things going in there as well. You take a look at the draft selections that were made. First round pick, Kalijah Kancey. Second round pick, Cody Mauch. Third round, Yaya Diabi. Fifth round, Servassier Dennis, Payne Durham, Josh Hayes, Trey Palmer, and Jose Ramirez, who unfortunately did not make the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster. In fact, I don't know where Jose Ramirez is now in the league. Let me... Where is Jose Ramirez? Hold on just a minute. Is he on the Buccaneers practice squad? Nope, that is Jose Ramirez, the baseball player. Where is Jose Ramirez, the player? He is on the Bucs practice squad. I thought so. So he's still a part of the team. He is still a guy who is a part of the Buccaneers practice squad. He was waived on August 29th and re-signed with the team's practice squad. Great. He's still around. He can still be something. A future pass rusher for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, freak athlete. We've talked about him before. But you take a look at some of these other guys who have contributed. I want to take a look at some of the stats this year. Firstly, in the case of first round draft pick Kalijah Kancey, as it showcased in that snippet there, Kalijah Kancey had a very solid rookie year, in my opinion. Played and started in 14 games. He had 4 sacks on the year, which did come in at 7th on the team. But in terms of defensive linemen, it was 2nd behind Vita Vea, only by a sack and a half, which was pretty darn impressive work, in my opinion, especially considering, a guy like Logan Hall started 13 games for the Bucs this year, 1 game less, and he had 3.5 less sacks than Kalijah Kancey. But those guys do different things for the team. In terms of quarterback hits, Kalijah Kancey led the way in quarterback hits. That's more than Vita Vea, more than Shaq Barrett, more than Devin White, more than all these different types of guys, and he only played and started in 14 games this year. Kalijah Kancey is going to be phenomenal, folks. He is a great asset to the Buccaneers defense, a fantastic first-round pick, and is just going to continue to do great things. He also was 3rd on the team in tackles for loss. So fantastic work by Kalijah Kancey. It is a guy that the Buccaneers are understandably very excited about, and I'm very excited about him. I'm sure a lot of Bucs fans are as well. Cody Mauch started every single game for the Bucs at right guard. We've talked about that already. He did have some rough stuff earlier on in the season. He's been up and down a little bit, but I think there's definitely been more good than bad regarding Cody Mauch this year. It seems like he's going to be the starting right guard moving forward, and seems like he's only going to get better. Another good draft pick by Jason Light, where you get a small school guy, I should say, from North Dakota State. You plug him into a different position in the NFL, and he does some pretty good work. Great pick. You love to see that. The gem of this draft pick, though, is arguably Yaya Diabi. I mean, Yaya Diabi coming out of Louisville, not exactly the most notable school in the world for pass rushers, but Yaya Diabi went out there and was the leading pass rusher for the Bucs, only starting 7 games this year. I made a video talking about Jotron Schwinka and how his play dipped this year in terms of overall stats. Part of that was because of Yaya Diabi. He had 7.5 sacks this year, led the way. This is a sack and a half more than the next guy, Antoine Winfield Jr. He had 1 forced fumble. He had 8 quarterback hits this year, which is 5th on the team, but only 1 behind the guys who are tied for 2nd. In terms of tackle for loss, Yaya Diabi got 2nd, only behind Levante David. Diabi's been a force, and moving forward, he can be a number 2 in a pass rush, at the very least, a fringe number 1 in a pass rush. He already showed that he can lead a pass rush or lead a team in overall sacks on the year. Fantastic athleticism, great size too, 6'4", 270 pounds. He's everything you want in a prototypical pass rusher. And while he hasn't had a sack since October 26th against Buffalo, the pressure's been there. And that's not always going to come up on the overall stats. If we take a look at the advanced stats, if I'm going to be able to find it, Yaya Diabi is still able to bring pressure. He is still able to contribute in terms of just being a solid, productive pass rusher. That's everything the Buccaneers wanted. I think that Yaya Diabi has obviously overachieved this year for the Bucs in terms of expectations and where he was going to be this year. It's been a great thing to watch. I mean, let's take a look here. Pass rush. Let's take a look at quarterback hurry. Yaya Diabi is tied for second with a few guys, but he's still tied for second, all things considered. In terms of pressure, he's second on the year, only behind Shaq Barrett with 19. You take a look at quarterback knockdowns, he is a little bit further down, but the point being is that Yaya is bringing pressure on the quarterback. He is hurrying the quarterback, again, tied for second with a lot of different people, and he's not even being blitzed a lot. That is just pure him going out there as a pass rusher and just either be it winning one-on-ones or just affecting the game in a lot of different types of ways that you want to see. Even a guy like Kalijah Kancey, I want to take a look at the advanced stats for him. 6 quarterback knockdowns, that's tied for second with Devin White. You have pressures, he is tied for third with a few guys, Devin White, JTS, Vita Vea, and he hasn't been blitzed at all this year. That's just purely Kalijah Kancey on the defensive line. So both these guys, be it you're looking at advanced stats, be it looking at normal stats, the Bucs got themselves 2 hopefully long-term starters, productive starters in Kalijah Kancey and in Yaya Diabi, as they've been putting out some fantastic work, all things considered. And I even want to take a look at the overall snap counts, if we can, to see what Yaya Diabi's been going on with this year. Again, you look, he started basically right during this stretch where the Bucs won 5 out of their last 6 games here down the stretch, and he was productive. He finished the year, with 6 of these last games being played where he had a sack, he had 2.5, he had 3.5 sacks down the stretch, which was notable and certainly very good overall for this Buccaneers defense to give them some juice when they needed it most, whenever they were going out there and, backs against the wall trying to win some games. He played 46% of the defensive snaps this year. Highly expect him to be a starter next year, a full-time starter next year, all 17 games if he does stay healthy, because he's earned it. He really has. He's shown a lot of great drive, a lot of great athleticism, and moving forward, he's a 2, if not a fringe number 1 for your pass rush. You even have a guy in SirVocea Dennis who, didn't play too much this year, but is still kind of a future piece, a guy that you could see as a guy moving forward that could get some opportunities, especially with what is going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker room this offseason. Devin White's expected to leave. You have Lavonte David, who, is getting up there in age. I believe he's going to be 34 years old. You have SirVocea Dennis, who's mainly a special teams guy this year, did play 12% of defensive snaps, but definitely has a bright future in there as well. And even Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer was a guy who was thrust into a starting role because of an injury to Russell Gage. Trey Palmer was essentially going to be slated to be a 4th, 5th wide receiver, something along those lines. But again, due to that injury, he had to play more. In terms of wide receivers, he was 3rd on the team in receiving yards. He had 3 receiving touchdowns. In terms of receptions, he was 5th on the year. So, even in terms of targets, he was 4th on the year, only 2 behind Rachaad White. So, Trey Palmer got a lot of opportunities this year, started 8 games, played in all 17. He's going to be another guy worth paying attention to because he's got good athleticism, 6 foot, 192 pounds, is a guy that has dropped a couple of passes here and there. And that's notable, and that is worth mentioning. But if he can improve on that, if he can focus in and build on this overall pretty solid rookie year for a 6th round draft pick, by the way, he has a bright future with Tampa Bay. I really do believe that. Maybe as a 3rd wide receiver, maybe as a rotational 4th, maybe even further, depending on what happens with Mike Evans in the future. Not even if his contract expires, but if Mike Evans retires eventually, you're going to have Trey Palmer still in his mid-20s at that point if you want to keep him around. It's some good stuff, man. The Bucs got a lot out of their rookie draft class this year. Some of it was expected, like Kalijah Kancey and Cody Mock. Those guys you knew were going to start right away and hopefully were going to be productive. But in the case of Yaya Diabi and Trey Palmer, very pleasant surprises. And of course, you've got Servassier Dennis, Payne Durham, Josh Hayes. They've been contributing more so in special teams types of roles. But this was a solid draft class for Jason Licht. I think he knocked it out of the park. I think the Buccaneers have had a very, very good 2023 production from their draft class, and these guys are only going to get better as their careers just continue to grow and progress, especially with Kalijah Kancey, Yaya Diabi, Cody Mock, and even Trey Palmer in there as well. And then even guys like Servassier Dennis, maybe even Josh Hayes, have a bright future also in a Todd Bowles-led defense. So, hey, Jose Ramirez, you never know. Payne Durham, big body tight end. I don't know, guys. Could be interesting. You never know. But let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about this draft class down in the comments section below. I would love to hear it. What have you guys liked from this draft class? What have you not liked? The Bucs had the 6th best draft class this year. Also, Christian Izien. I mean, I'm sorry, but I've got to talk about Christian Izien. He's going to be a guy who's going to be back. My apologies. I cannot end this video without talking about Christian Izien. He's been a guy who's also played so much this year. 5'8", 197 pounds. Has started so many games, or has played so much for the Bucs this year. He started 4 games, 2 interceptions, 2 passes defended, 1 forced fumble, 65 total tackles on the year. In terms of advanced stats, allowed a completion percentage of 74.1 this year, a rating of 83.5. Played 64% of defensive snaps this year, folks, and 34% of special teams. That's great. I think Christian Izien has a bright future on this team as well. Maybe as a future safety. Maybe next to Antoine Winfield Jr. That'd be a very good combo. Gotta mention Christian Izien because this dude has been awesome, electric, and is 100% worth noting. So, again, and he's a part of this draft class. He is. And even if you want to throw like guys like Raheem Jarrett in there, maybe Sean Tucker, like they made the roster. It's cool. So, anyway, guys, again, let me know your thoughts and opinions about all these guys down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. As always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.